Community trusts the police. Residents work with law enforcement to ensure public safety. Effective, proactive policing is community policing.
This report is not an indictment on every man and woman that has the privilege of wearing this uniform, this patch, and this badge.
Since Kevin Davis became our Baltimore Police Commissioner after Anthony Batts was fired by Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake, there are new reforms already in place. In fact, Commissioner Davis has already fired 6 officers this year because they weren't following new reforms. Dar.
I think that's great, and that's the beginning. But again, we have to look at a number of things, and in the report it says that, well, how are we recruiting these people? How are they being vetted? You know, people, and then those who come in and they're here with the old guard who have the same nasty attitudes they've had for 30 or 40 years. They bring them in, the young people, and they don't know any better. So if your sergeant or your captain says, well, you have to do this, and if you pull that person over, it doesn't matter if he doesn't have a broken taillight or not.
Part of the problem, Darlene, part of the problem with these young police officers, they have to take orders from their supervisors.
That's what I'm saying.
It's the supervisors, and they're getting orders from, let's start with Mayor O'Malley, zero tolerance, said arrest everybody.
You know, the game changer on this whole thing was the advent of cell phone videos, because these have taken these incidents and brought them to the outside world. Okay, where people were not in there seeing what's going on. And if you want proof of that, go back and look at this program from October 16th of last year, where there was cell phone video showing 2 officers going up to a guy, minding his own business around his neighborhood, talking to his friends, and they wanted information from him on where some other person was they were looking for. But rather than go up in a polite, respectful manner, they went up and they started touching him and pushing him, and it escalated into something poorly. And it was caught on video, and it got bad, much bad after that. So had they approached it in a normal way, they would have gotten the information, but instead they approached it in a zero-tolerance type way.
But I do want to pick up on something that was mentioned earlier, and that goes to the fact that officers and recruitment. We know that in the city of Baltimore, the police department, that we have to do total retraining. I mean, we have a culture that has to be changing. That's not going to happen overnight. But one of the things I do want to point out, and this has been said many times over when we work to try to address this, is that roughly over 3/4 of the force are individuals who, number one, may not be from Baltimore and they don't live in the city. There is no connectivity.
Yeah, but you can't have them as residents here. But you can't make that a rule here. No, You'll never get any police officers.
Well, wait a minute. You just let me finish my comment.
Hold it, Bob.
It goes to the issue of recruitment. Okay, no, you can't make it a law, but what you can do is emphasize on the recruitment, on local recruitment, to get individuals who know the city, who know the residents, who know the culture of Baltimore to join the force.
Well,
because right now, the trust is broken. And you have to repair that trust. You can go anywhere in Baltimore City other than probably the central and the southern district, and it's a us versus them mentality. And that permeates because the trust has been broken. And you can't repair that trust with people that you don't know.
Here's one example. Stop, everyone. Let me. One example in the DOJ report. One guy stopped 30 times over the past 4 years, never charged with anything. The police just wanted to see if he was, there was an outstanding warrant on him. There was never an outstanding warrant. He was never stopped or never charged.
See, under the O'Malley administration, that would be 30 arrests. Looks good on the report card, doesn't it? 30 arrests.
And, let's make something clear. It's not just white cops. And no one has said this at this table, but I want, America needs to remember it's white cops, it's black cops, Latino, it's police officers, and they're all not bad.
I'll tell you something.
But the ones that are bad seeds really have to be gone.
We've got to be careful now, all right? Everybody's is reacting to this report, rightfully so. But there's a problem now in America with the Ferguson effect. Police officers today, and again, there's got to be some consideration for this. Officers are afraid now to go into districts and make arrests, and the criminals are taking advantage of it. Crime is up, violent crime is up. Something like this report isn't going to help that. It's only going to make it worse.
You think police officers are afraid? You think the people who live in the community?
I hear you.
What do you think about them?
I hear you.
I mean, they're more afraid because they've been living with this probably for decades.
Well, they're going to have more of a reason to be afraid if police officers don't come in there and
did those
protect
two guys,
people.
Did those 2 cops in Baton Rouge look afraid when they shot a guy who was on the ground handcuffed? Did they look afraid at that point?
All right, you're picking out 2 people that deserve everything that happens to them.
Thank goodness it was
bottom
caught on
line.
I understand, but not all police are like that.
The bottom line is very simple.
Go ahead.
African American men in particular in this country, when it comes to law enforcement and law enforcing, have been under siege across the country. I mean, Baltimore, the DOJ report in Baltimore exemplifies that as it looks at our city locally. But this is replete and has been replete for many years across this country.
Now,
You know
let me
what's even-
respond.
can I respond?
Stop, Bob.
All right, I'm
I
sorry.
was going to say, thank you. Even what's even more frightening is that now we have citizens who think they're police officers. Just last week, a 20-year-old kid was killed by some guy saying, "Oh, there's these thugs in front of my house, and I'm nervous, I'm scared," and shot through the garage and killed somebody. And we're not, you know, I mean, he's being arrested and he's going to be tried. But the point is, people feel if the cops can do it, then I guess I can too.
I do have to mention the city and the Department of Justice are expected to agree on a court-ordered remedy to fix the Baltimore Police Department. This could cost anywhere between $5 and $10 million a year, but it's going, what?
Or more.
Or more, but it's going to be worth it because it's been terrible for decades. Final comment, who wants to make it?
Just that you have to understand, though, that if the
That's
police...
a shocker. You want to make it? Go ahead.
I agree with everything you said and everybody else, all right? There is terrible abuse. But in going forward and remedying this, you've got to understand, the police are really scared to death now themselves of going in and enforcing and making legitimate arrests. And that's going to be a problem for the citizens living in those communities.